What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and today we're going to be talking about OP-13 Carrying on His Will, which just released in Asia on the 22nd. And so there's about 2-ish days because Japan's about 14 hours ahead, so they're about tomorrow morning right now. And so they've got like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's worth of gameplay, and just kind of wanted to once again make another video showing off just the early look at the meta. Of course, these aren't technically like tournament legal until next week, I believe. Maybe they changed that. So we won't really see any like flagships here. I think they're all like local. I think there is a CS, but I believe during pre-release going onward here in the English TCG that they allowed the cards to be legal. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think one of our locals did it, stating that they believed that they could. And we ran the OP-12 format. Nevertheless, we're going to take a look at some of the data. We have a little bit from like the stores, the Shumai Cup, and just overall representation early on. One thing to note is Asia absolutely loves to play new decks. They love to discover. They love to have fun. Like, nobody's playing Nami, even though Nami is undoubtedly the best deck in format. I did see Nami win an event, and I just kind of felt sick to my tummy. This, of course, being like the one weekend that it's legal. Come next week, Nami is no longer playable. So, you know, get your last win in while you can, but mad respect to Asia for that. Now, let's go ahead and jump in, but before we do that, if you could do me a favor, check and see if you're not subscribed. If not, if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000, which I still cannot believe. It is incredible, and I cannot thank you all enough. It blows my mind that people sit here and just kind of listen to me talk for hours on end. So I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you all. None of this is possible without you, but let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to take a look at two of the Shumai Cups first off. So we'll look at this pie chart here. We see Emu, we see Roger, we see Luffy, we see Ace. Luffy is, of course, infinite counter no jutsu. Depending on the situation, you can literally just leave up 5 cards and have 5 extra cards in your hand for free in end game, especially if you're playing those 10-drop shanks. So you can play a 10-drop and then have 10,000 worth of counter for free. It's kind of like shanks, but on steroids, because again, for every down you leave up, you get a free 2k counter, which adds up a lot. It adds up a lot. The more you do it, the more free cards you get, kind of like Blue Purple Luffy. So that makes sense. Emu, of course, biggest representation. Just live to 10 Dawn and you probably win. Is usually the strat. Go second, live to 10 Dawn, you probably win. And then, of course, he laughed in their face. Roger's a pretty strong Emu counter, but I haven't seen Roger actually win many events. A lot of the lists we'll see here are runner-up Roger lists, but we are going to talk about Emu, we're going to talk about Roger, we're going to talk about Luffy, and we're going to talk about Ace. So we're going to feature deck lists from all of these, but this kind of gives us a decent idea of like representation, hype, and excitement. And then we have another Shumai Cup here. Again, huge representation. A lot of Ace this time around. A lot of Ace and then a lot of Roger. So we've got Emu, Ace, and Roger. I think Ace is pretty good too. The one thing we'll see is the 8-cost event, which I personally wasn't a fan of, but I still am not, just because I don't win dice rolls, so I'm never going second against Emu. I will probably go second against one Emu in my entire career. So I got to play for going first. That's the skill diff. Like the going second Luffy. But if you go 8 and you play out a 10-drop, then you go 10, you play out a 10-drop, they go Exodia, you play out a 10-drop, you've drawn 6 cards, and you have 3 blockers that can block anything. And then you have 3 bodies that can push lethal. So it makes sense. And then if you want to get even more spicy, you follow it up with a new gate afterwards. Because you're going to block their 3 attacks. They have to leave up their 2 blockers, and then you can just do whatever with their leader. But they don't have any unblockable. They don't have answers to it. So I understand. I understand. If Emu didn't exist, I still don't think it's playable. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I'll give it that. But we're going to take a look at list there. But again, Emu high rep. Roger, Ace, huge. Rayleigh, I feel like, you know, people want to believe in Rayleigh. I saw some Rayleigh in, like, top 4, but again, these are, like, possibly 16 people tournaments, so take it with a grain of salt. But so first up, kind of, and we'll talk more about these lists here. This was just like a whole event, but we see Red, Green, Luffy, we see Emu, and then we see Ace. So this is kind of like the tone that's been set. Also, look at this just absolutely blinged out, beautiful deck here. Mad respect. The World's Dawn, too, just looking crispy. But we'll go ahead and jump in. But you can see this is this was Nagano, CS, and Red Green Luffy was able to pull out the win. Now we're gonna go ahead. We'll start off with Emu. A lot of people are calling it Helmet. Again, you just kind of lived a 10. The Stussy is a tech I've been seeing. So I actually, funny enough, I might pick up some Stussy, but Stussy seems incredibly good. Because you shouldn't be able to, you can't use any of these as a target, but you have your cheap Celestial Dragons that you can play and get off. Or no, this is can't be removed by your opponent's effect, so you can send these. I'm like, these can't be removed by, it's always your opponent's effect. So you can go to any of your 5 Unkies, play a Stussy and have a little bit of removal. Remove those big bodies, because again, Ace is playing New Gates. You know, you can play this, especially if you're going first, because everybody's going to make you go first if they win dice roll because you want to go second. This is a great card for that. So you can play out the Stussy, and then you also get to go 5 Unkies. And you can, like, swing with any of your bodies, play Stussy, get rid of that one, then use Leader. If you have another one, get rid of that, draw a card, and then next turn you're going to just swing with Stussy, then you're going to 5 Unks and do your thing. So Stussy is something to kind of keep your eyes on, but I've been seeing it. I saw Guan Rong, the first world champion of One Piece, also messing around with Stuss. And here we have one at One Happy. They won 6 rounds, you can see here. And then just kind of looking at the list, very standard. People go 1 Marie Joie, 1 Throne, which makes sense. That's kind of like the ratio. This one only plays 3 Mercury, though. We got 4 Saturn. I think this isn't Peter. This is Peter, but this is the Rush one. I still don't know all their names. 5 Unks, but so this one kind of got a little creative in the ratios, not committing fully, being able to get all these, because again, these are like a little less important. Like, you know, you want your search, you want your 7K, and then you need your blocker, this guy. But yeah, he gives you a draw card, he gives you Rush. And then you've got Rebecca, which is, you know, allows you to fetch any of your Unks and literally any card in the deck that isn't the 5 Unks. And you got Sabo. I've been seeing Sabo 2 to 4. And then, yeah, just some CD package. CDs, you know what I'm saying? And then here we have another Emu winner. Again, not too much differentiation. Of course, this one playing 3. This one playing 2 of the events, but opting for Who's Who as one of theirs versus some of the other cards. Got their this one is the Charlos, which is essentially Nefertari Vivi or Cobra. And then you got just your 2K and got this. So 8 2Ks here. Incredibly greedy, but it makes sense. Oh, no, 12. I forget Peter's a 12. That extra cost really moves the needle there. But yeah, we've got, of course, the 4 Emu events, which are just incredible. It's Radical Beam with no requirement. And do you guys remember when in the English, Radical Beam was limited to 1 because it was too strong? Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, yeah, just your events. And then another Emu here. We see 4 Sabo as their choice 2K. So essentially you kind of get like 1 2K, or you can play 10 and just be incredibly greedy. We see a full 4 for 4 package, 5 for 5, Biggie Bag. And then we go here, 2 Charlos. And yeah. And then here's one again. Stussy was probably the spiciest list we've seen outside of it. I mean, it is incredibly standard in terms of everything. Like, I mean, it's just, you just need these cards to win. You put them in your trash, you play this, you win. That's your win con. So it's Exodia. It's Exodia. So nothing too exciting on the Emu front. But let's go ahead. We're going to jump into Red, Blue, Ace. So here was an Ace winner taking down an individual battle from the Shumai Cup. we see here. So of course that 8 cost event, which allows you to cheat out a 10 and then you take a life and gain plus 2,000. So on 8 you can play out this, draw 2, you're going to take 1 from your life, so you essentially go 2 for 3, and so you go plus 1, and then you chain this again, play it, draw 2, you get 4 Dawn as well. But being able to play this out, this also prevents the 5 Unkies from attacking you all out without expending their hand. So this card is also semi-relevant. I've seen it here or there. I'm still not 100% sold on this card, but it is in some lists. So we'll see as everything kind of gets more refined. But they're playing Garp Searcher than the blue Ezo, which I find interesting. Like, Ezo does allow you to dig just a little bit deeper to find your pieces, but if you have 8 searchers, I feel like you should be finding them anyways. And this one, I don't know if this card isn't pudding, so they're not even playing pudding, which is fascinating to me. I love a good pudding. Pudding on Roger is so good. But we do, of course, have the new Marco. Cabbage Patch, which is quite interesting. Cavendish, draw 2, trash 1 when attacking. Great 4 plays. So essentially, both of these give you something. I'm not 100% sure which one this is, if I'm being honest. This one's kind of hard to tell. But it's a 4, so it's probably a 4/6 with no ability. Or with an ability. And it's a brick. And you got your rad beams. Standard. And then here we have one. It looked, I guess this one was a flagship winner, so maybe they are legal. It's a bit iffy, but we see here again the 10 drop Newgate. This, of course, being Mind Game Team. Incredible players on this team. We got, of course, the Marco 4 drop, draw 2, also playing. This might even be a triple searcher package. Just incredibly streamlining it, which, I mean, you know, if you can, like, everyone's a target. We see Nami here, which we did not see here. We just see the Yams. But we've got Nami here with Yams. Nami, of course, allowing you to filter 3 cards. Well, really it's 2, but allows you to go through 3 cards. We do see 6 drop Yamato, another card we don't see here. I still really like 5 cost Luffy, but again, we were wanting to take second from Emu, so right now we're like a going second deck, so I think this makes sense. And then of course Vista double attack goes crazy. But yeah, we got the 8 cost event here, the new gates, and then one of this, so you can put them at 0 or willingly go to 0 yourself, play this in, steal that win from their wall of blockers and Exodia. And of course, let's go ahead and jump in here. So this is a second place ace list. We see here 3 10 drop, 4 10 drop, 1 9 beard, 2 7 cost ace, 4 Vista, 2 2K aces, 4 Yams, 2 pudding here. We see 3 Rad Beam, 8 cost event. We see Marco, we see Jozu, and then we see this is Whitey Bay, the 2K buff, and we see these. All right, and here we have another winner. This one is one that is not playing the other 10 drop Newgate. We just have this one, and we have 2 of the 9 drops. Playing this, and you can play this to tank up afterwards. So you can go boom, boom, and then go up to an 8K leader, which requires your opponent to have a lot. Plus, you can leave one up for Rad Beam. We do, of course, this is the unblockable event. Haven't seen too many of them in these past builds, actually. But this allows you to swing unblockable. I think it's just with your ace leader. I don't think it's a Whitebeard pirate, but it's like a perfume femur. And then, yeah, we see Marco, too. This one's kind of new here as well. A free block. You know, there's not a lot of removal decks out there right now. There is the one who KOs a 5 of the 5 Unks. But we have this you can bring back, which I think is pretty cool. We see a 2 and a 4 split. We see 10 total searchers here. Quite interesting. Again, you can really just prioritize consistency since this deck has access to so many searchers. I mean, we see 6 cost Yamato and 5 cost Yamato, 5 cost Ace just as a 2K runner-up list. And then we go on. Here was another Shumai first battle. They lost in the finals, so they went undefeated in Swiss. Lost in the finals, beat a Rayleigh, makes sense for a 6K leader, and of course a 1 of Newgate. This one opting for the 10 cost once again, a 4 and 3 ratio. And then we see 2 ace here. This Might actually, this is the same one as this one, right? Yeah, this is the same one. Okay. Unipin. Red Ace. So here we go. We actually see Flame Emperor for the first time. Again, a 4-3 ratio on the 10 drops. If you're playing the 8, you might as well maximize the targets for it, which is understandable. We see 2 of the unblockable events, 1 Flame Emperor, 3 Rush Ace, 3 Rush Yamato. This is actually probably my favorite list that I've seen so far. Just incredibly aggressive. I think this is a 5-on-5. Maybe not. The tournaments in Japan are incredibly confusing, but we see again here 10 searchers, so just prioritizing consistency and the most amount of searchers I think any deck has been able to play so far, with almost their whole entire deck being targets, but of course being able to actually search the Yamato as well, because everything else is Whitebeard. But then of course you can find that this, I'm still not sure what this is. Let me know if you guys know in the comments below, but it's a 4 cost. I'm trying to I know there's like an ace, but I don't think it's that, because I think it's a promo that hasn't been released yet. But let me know in the comments below. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Red Green Luffy. So less Red Green Luffy list, but of course we see here double Nami. So again, with the Garp 2, just seems like everybody's prioritizing consistency over everything else. Just maximize the number of searchers. We do see this cheeky Sanji as well, which allows you to give one of your Straw Hats unblockable. I don't believe is this leader? I know ST22 Sanji. I know it gives a character for sure. Unsure if it gives it to anything else. Characters. Does have to be a character. Of course, we have all the new film cards that we stand on. We see this Luffy, though, which I think is pretty big, because I felt like this Luffy might be good. Because you play out this Luffy, play out this, play out this. No, you can't play out this. You play out this, you play out this. And you can play out the red ones, too, I think, so. And then here's another one. We don't see the 7 drop here. We do see the new SEC Luffy, which we don't see here in this list. This list was also, this one was the winner. This one is a runner-up, so this is second place. We see, of course, the 10 drop Shanks and the 9 cost Zoro. 9 cost Zoro here, no 10, but you can play this into this, establish a huge threat, do triple swing here, and still leave up 5 Dawn for counter. Which means even if you have like 3 cards in hand, you have a metric ton of counter. You can counter out of just 2 7s with 4 Dawn if you really needed to. So it leaves you with a lot in that department. Of course, these Bonnies. Bonnie goes hard, gives you a Dawn back. So you have counter plus a blocker. Of course, see these. And then this is this Kobe? Film Kobe potentially? For Tashigi, best green card ever made. So we see the new Bonnie here as well. I think this is this PRB or is this OP-13? But yeah, again we see 4 searchers here, Red Nami, and then 4 Garp. And that's about it on the Red Green Luffy. But we'll move over to Roger and kind of talk about these lists. So funny enough, I was talking to my buddy Karar, who's been on the channel, and we did a video that got scrapped, but it was kind of, in theory, something similar to this. It was like, okay, maybe we should play 10 Shanks, like, and less of these. And so far, the builds in Asia have taken favor for 10 Shanks. This one took an interesting turn, of course, opting to play this Luffy, which KOs an 8,000 power. However, you can't KO any of the Unks. Any of the 5 Unks, you can't KO any of them, but you can use a Monkey D Dragon for a little bit of rush. But I like Katakuri more, which has taken a lot of favor as well. But we, of course, see these Utas. I saw a lot of people playing this Roger with this Uta, but when you play this Uta, no longer becomes a blocker and just becomes a 6/4 2K, which I didn't love. So I think when you're not playing these, the 10 drops, it's a bit better. But this one, of course, prioritizing a bit of that aggro. We have rush here, we have rush here, and then rush here. And then, of course, this possibly an end game to just not lose because you become 11K leader. So fascinating stuff here. We got Dougie, Dougie B right here. We've got Rayleigh, Scooper. And then this Rayleigh right here, best card, you play this on 9, you go up to 10, so on your 10, you don't have to add any, you can play these 10 drops. So it's incredibly crucial on that curve. Same thing with 8 cost Katakuri, and then we of course see 2 of those new Ace Saba Luffys that let you minus 3,000. Now here is a better build in my opinion. This one is a runner-up as well. Again, not many winner lists for Roger, but this one of course playing 2 Katakuri 8 cost, and these Katakuri of course allows you to ramp at the end too, so you can only play this on 9 because you go to 9, you attach 1, you play this, but then you go to 10, you can start playing these. But this one also playing the pop shanks as well, and then also being able to utilize Usohachi because you don't have a 10 cost negating these effects. So we see Usohachi, we of course see these life ramp events here with a Gum and then these spider webs as well. And then we move on over to here. We see nice little haha leader. We've got the 4 Rayleigh. We've got 4 10 drop shanks again. 1 9-beard. So I'm opting to play 9-beard. You're really just playing 7. You're playing 5 life, 7k red purple Luffy is what people are playing. You're playing 5 life, 7k red purple Luffy, which is by every stat better. So we see that a lot here. And then we also of course see the Roger 10 drop, again great for the 5 unks, getting past all those blockers, just willingly putting yourself to 0 because you can live, or putting them to 0 before they can block her up, and then if they do, you drop this, they lose. And of course this being searchable in Roger thanks to the purple shanks. And we see a Divine Departure here. This one is also Divine Departure. So this one isn't, this time around, it isn't the Gum Reigns. Now here's another one. This one playing full 8-drop Katakuri with 3 of them, but you see he's looking full. Of course, 4 10-drop shanks as well. This one playing It's So Delicious, so that way you can ramp as another card, which is interesting. I kind of like lead performance, but this one makes sense. You ramp on 4 up to 5, then you go 7, and then you go 8, and then you go 9, which is 10. But you only get 9 down to you, so you gotta ramp up again. Gotta hit those curves so that way when you go to your 10, you don't have to attach 1. But yeah, and then one of the 10, the new 10 shank, the new 10 Roger. This one should be the rush one, I believe. I don't think this is the one, but maybe it's the one. It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell. And yeah, here we have, again, another runner-up. This one is also... This one's a winner. This one was a box winner. This is a Rayleigh. So, well, here's Rayleigh. That one got 3rd. This one got 2nd. And we see, again, you know, 2 Newgate. This allows you to go. You play one of these, and you play one of these. So now your 9k leader, all their bodies lose 1. Your 9k leader again, or you play another one of these and you're essentially 9k leader again, right? So that just skill diff is incredibly oppressive, just because all your characters are weaker. Your 5 unks are back to 5, and then your 7, so it's like it's very expensive just to swing in demand cards, and then even harder to push lethal. So nothing else. We see 2 Roger here. We see the Uda returning again, something to kind of keep your eyes on, but of course we see that 8 Katakuri as well. And then here we have, this is just a standard battle. It says Starbucks, but it's just like because they use SB, and SB is also used for Starbucks. That's just how Japanese works. But we take a look here. We see 410. We see 3 of the Newgate. Newgate possibly the new, these 2 possibly the new hottest cards on town. And of course we see these Charlotte Katakuris as well. Again, just split it. Instead of going 4-2, they split it 3-3. This one being a strong rusher. This one, of course, being a repeat attacker that also makes you 8k leader. Then again, here we see Uta once more. We see Newgate. We see 4 8-drop Katakuris, 4 of these, and then we see 4 of the Shanks. Of course, making you very hard. Because, like, you know, you're 8k leader now. You also do this, so your opponents have to equip more down. You're getting free blocks. You're getting free attacks. This feels really strong. This one was also a runner-up. A lot of second places here, and that rounds it up. But like, this is kind of how you can find. We just search like the name in Japanese and you find a post. But as always, if you found this content of value, if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I make tons of One Piece content here, and I will see you all in the next one.